And good afternoon. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to our next edition of the Client Conversations series that we have. If you're enjoying the sunlight outside, which I hope you are wherever you're at, we happen to be in Omaha, Nebraska. My name is Travis Justice, and I am the Director of Business Development and Marketing for MCL Construction. We are a general contractor and construction manager located in Omaha, Nebraska, with as we service the Omaha, Eastern Nebraska, and Western Iowa area. Today, we are continuing our client conversation series where we're going to talk with the president and CEO of Cobalt Credit Union, Robin Larsen. So Robin will join us in just a couple minutes, but I do want to remind you that MCL Construction is on social media. You can find us and like us and follow us on LinkedIn. You can do the same on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and you can also visit our website at mclconstruction.com. As we continue our conversation today, where we talk a lot about culture, leadership, everything that really makes a great organization thrive, if you have questions, put it in the comment section. We can look at your comments, and if you have a question, we'd be more than happy to answer that question for you. And my guest today is the president and CEO of Cobalt Credit Union, Robin Larsen. 32 years with Cobalt Credit Union, and she's also the co-commander of the 55th Maintenance Group at Office Air Force Base. And I was wondering about that, Robin. And by the way, good afternoon. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So what are the duties as the co-commander of the 55th Maintenance Group?
So there are several groups on the base, and we all support the community, the base office community. And when the troops have a need, the Office Advisory Council is a board that I serve on, and we each serve as a co-commander, and we make sure that the base troops have everything they need. Right now, there's a project we're working on. They're raising money for helmets and bicycles for a group on the base. So it could be from that or to supporting spouses of goodie bags for the deployed troops that are going overseas. We usually get word when they're happening, when that's going on, and we will fill up goodie bags and get those to the troops as they board the plane to go deploy.
You know, I'm fascinated by this because this is the first time you and I have ever talked about this. Yeah. I had no idea about this. Do you think a lot of people know about these groups?
Well, within the OFIT community, I think they're aware of it, but there's always, with the air show having been moved, because they moved the runway is being repaired. So all these troops are right now going to Lincoln every day. You'll see a bunch of buses, chartered buses, taking people from Offutt to Lincoln to work because the runway is shut down for repairs for 2 years. So one of the things we did is we purchased a grill so they could grill out in Lincoln at the new Air Guard that they're at. So those are the things to really support the community and to support the families, because these troops are deployed and we have a lot of members that are Cobalt Credit Union members. So we do have that along with our SAC Foundation. So it's kind of supporting the community is huge. It's part of that people helping people in the credit union movement. So
that's incredible. I'm learning about this for the first time. I like it when I learn something new during the day. Can somebody like me or anybody who's watching this get involved in any way, or how does that happen?
We do have membership opportunities for Office Advisory Committee members to join. Those funds are then put to use to donate to the troops in the needs that they have expressed on the base. So yes, if you're interested, please contact me and I can hook you up with the membership.
That is awesome. You know, your life has changed quite a bit because in January you were named the president and CEO. You've been with the credit union for 32 years now. I believe you started back in 1988.
Yes.
And you've climbed that ladder. What was your first job with the credit union way back in 1988?
My first job was administrative assistant, and short-lived for 6 months. I did that, and then we did not have a training program, so I was responsible for creating the first training program it was Strategic Air Command Credit Union back then. And there were changes on the base that occurred because we were primarily the credit union for Offutt Air Force Base. We started out in 1946 at Andrews Field, Maryland. But there were changes on the base. So we decided that we wanted to go community credit union. And that means anyone that eats, sleeps, breathes, and warships in any of the counties that we serve, primarily Sarpy, Douglas, Cass, Potawatomi. We have a list of 9 counties and communities that we serve. And so as we decided to go expand our membership opportunities, of course, we had to build some branches. So that really took off. And when you build branches, you have to add employees and you have to train employees, which is so critical to make sure that everyone's consistent in serving our membership.
Yeah, it's funny that you bring up training because we just built a new headquarters, and we're going to get to your headquarters, which you built in 2014 in a minute. But one of the big components was training. And I think I've seen a huge difference with our employees in just the fact when you take the time to train on processes, culture, all around, it just builds morale and enhances a culture. Would you agree with that?
Yes. In fact, we went through a cultural shift before we built this headquarters. We realized that we needed to really bump up the training. It really changed from a lot when we added more employees. So we developed and created and started training on, it's called integrity service training and integrity sales training. And that was our game changer. That's really when our cultural shift occurred. We had employees that were working in different facilities and basements of branches. We had our indirect lending department in one basement. We had our contact center in another basement.
Wow.
And so we realized once we grew, we outgrew where we were at, which was at 36 and 370 in Bellevue. And that we looked for a place and we finally found the perfect spot to build a headquarters branch.
Let's go through the history because you mentioned that it was founded in 1946, and people may not realize that it actually started in Maryland. But you came on board. You came on board in 1989. So I'd like to just we've got a half an hour. So let's go through some of these milestone marks. In 1989, you were with the credit union. Then you hit 100 million in assets. Was that a big deal back in 1989?
Well. Yeah, we were we've always been the largest as far as compared to other credit unions. We only had 3 branches and 2 of those were on the base at that time. And then when we started expanding, I think we had like 70 employees. And today we have 270 employees. So
wow.
It's been a big cultural shift. And it's been interesting to watch. I've been proud of say that I have been here to see this history because we're celebrating 75th anniversary this year. So it's really exciting to see all the changes, not only with, physically with adding branches, but the technology has changed so much. I remember when the first ATM came out back in 1982, and I'm thinking, who's going to use that? Who's going to use an ATM? And look at today. I mean, it's just blown up and grown up. So lots of technology changes. And along with that comes regulations and all that too.
Yeah, you mentioned the technology. Well, you kind of briefly hit on the community field membership. That allowed you to go outside, right? That allowed you to go to Potawatomi County in Iowa. It allowed you to go to different parts of Iowa and Nebraska, correct?
Yes.
And then in 1988, you mentioned the technology. That's when CU at home online account access was it should be introduced. I have a spelling error on that, so that's my fault. But that had to be. I did not do any banking online in 1998. I promise you that. Was that? Did you think you would see what you are today, innovation wise, and online back in 1998 when you launched that?
When the internet came out, people were hesitant because it was the unknown. But as that grew, that channel really did grow. But along with that, we had to spend a lot of time training our membership on how to use it. And it led into, well, how do I get this on the internet? So it was a big shift in our rhythm of our business because you have people coming in branches and then you have to serve people through that channel. So not only were people adapting to that technology, but we spent a lot of time training people, our members, on how to use outside of our website. And I think, as we added things like you used to be able to just check your balance online, but then you could then add transfers and then do a transfer. So it took a while to get everyone accustomed to how that worked. But today it's just the click of a switch and a button and you're doing a transfer. So it's a lot easier today than it used to be back in the day. And the connectivity. I remember the dial-up modems, and you had to sit there and hear that. So all of that's gone. So
Sounded like a fax machine, didn't it? It was like "Rrrr," those weird sounds. In 2001, you went to a community charter. How is that different from like a community field membership? Because people may not understand what charters and credit unions and how that all works.
So when we applied and were approved to be in the different communities we serve, it's just marketing is key to this, because you can build it, but if people don't know they can join, and especially having a name such as Strategic Air Command and SAC Federal Credit Union, there was still a shift where people didn't know they could join the credit union. So marketing played a huge part in that, to let people know as we went into communities of the unknown that, hey, membership is open to all. So the community membership is really allowed us to grow, and being involved in communities also. As far as schools, we have a Dollar Dog program. We are in some partnerships with the schools. I'd like to be in all of the school districts that we have communities in. But that is something that's critical, to be a part of that community and to get the word out that you're here, you can join. Membership is open for all.
So as this was all happening, you were also moving up the ladder at what was then SAC Federal Credit Union. Then in 2014, you're the director of operations. You take on this the headquarters project. What did that project mean for the credit union?
So one of my duties, as I was a branch manager, so backing up to that. So I had served in a branch manager capacity, opening up branches in the communities we serve, because we knew we had to build it, and then they'll come if we market it right. So when I was offered the opportunity to do the headquarters branch, it was the mother lode of, I had never built anything this big before. And I'll have to say, we moved our indirect lending, which were in the basement, our contact center staff, which were in a basement. We wanted everyone to be back at one location, because it was crucial to have a facility that size, to change our culture, to have everyone back in the branch, in the headquarters branch. So building a branch like this was game changer. I learned a lot, but I have to say, having the right contractor to help with that was the game changer. MCL really helped out and guided us, and we had the dream team, is what I refer to them, because it made my job a lot easier. From when you decide to build, you have to meet with the architect and sit down and look at, okay, 10 years from now, where do we want to be? We've already filled up this building, and we built it with a 10-year growth plan. But we're full now. Do we need to build another building? But right now, we've got just what we need at this time.
It's interesting you brought up the dream team, but it really is about communication. It's about fit, and it's about maybe your team actually matching the culture that you have internally. Would you agree with that?
Correct. It's really important that everybody that you select as a vendor has the same work ethic, and they're looking out for you. And that's what I feel that I've had with MCL. You all look out for us. In fact, you're building other projects for us, and it's because it's a sense of relief when you have that in a contractor, that they are like, okay, this happened, but you know what, we've already fixed it. And I've not had that experience a long time ago with other contractors that I had. I remember one time, I tell this story often, where someone told me, they gave me a can of fluorescent paint and said, just spray paint the wall there, and then we'll get to it. That's not the experience. I'm a banker. I'm not a builder or a contractor or a superintendent of a job. So I really appreciate the experience I've had with MCL.
In 2016, you mentioned the ATM back in '82. What is an ITM?
ITM is our interactive teller machine, and it is a live teller. They're not in the box, but they are headquartered out of 2 branch locations. And these employees are able, if you go to the ATM, which looks like an ATM, it's also an ITM, and you push for a live teller, and you can talk to them and see them face to face and have that experience versus just the ATM machine, which is also serves as an ATM. You can request to cash a check to the penny. You can transfer money. You can ask any questions. They are well-trained employees that know every aspect of all of our products and services. That was our game changer. I have to say we had those machines before COVID was a thing. And that really allowed us to stay open to serve our members. Our branches, we only closed out, I want to say like 4 weeks, but we converted all of our branch locations into a contact center because our phones, of course, increased. And then our ITM channel really increased because people were able to be served from their cars outside in our drive-ups.
One of those, and that you would have never predicted that back in 2016 that those ITMs were going to be so valuable in 2020 and 21, did you?
Right. No. I never imagined what it was capable of doing. And technology, who knows in 10 years from now what that machine's going to do. Or maybe it'll go to your door and serve you with your cash check. Who knows?
Well, I think I'm going to show the statistic, and it said in January of 2020, Cobalt had 160 new people using video banking. At its peak during the pandemic, you gained 13,000 new users per month. Operations-wise, how did you have to adjust with that? I mean, because you're servicing many more people, obviously.
Yeah. So we had to, because our foot traffic decreased in the branches. So instead of having employees, we couldn't send everybody to work at home, but these ITM employees were able to go and work from home. And it's amazing how fast that happened. If we would have been told, okay, 2 weeks, you got 2 weeks to get this figured out. It was stressful. We're like, we're going to do this. But we literally converted our employees that were face-to-face universal bankers. We converted them and had them trained because they already knew the knowledge, but they just had to train on the hardware of the ITM. So we literally flipped that switch and had our employees serving as contact center employees where they were taking phone calls. And then we picked people that felt comfortable on the video to do the interactive teller machine channel. We also have a mobile app. So if I push a button on my phone, I get the Cobalt mobile app. And that's another channel where these ITM employees were also utilizing, serving our members through that channel.
It's funny because you go back to when you first started, how you were training people. I'm sure training and having them properly trained leading up to this made that transition a lot easier.
Yes. Training and, even interviewing for positions. I mean, we're doing virtual interviews. So that has been, and we have openings, by the way. I do think, a lot of people are hiring everywhere you go. It seems like hiring help wanted. So it's been healthy to do the virtual channel in all of the areas in our rhythm of our business.
Of course, you were named the CEO and president in January, and I like to talk about leadership because you've grown through the credit union, and I asked you about your thoughts on leadership, and you say leadership is the capacity to translate vision into reality. Your philosophy is to inspire, empower, and guide others to their best. You consider yourself a transformational leader that motivates employees and enhances productivity and efficiency through communication and high visibility. I guess, one of the big questions I have is, how does your leadership role change from when you were the director of director of operations to the CEO? I mean, how did you have to do a massive leadership change in January? How does that work?
So my focus, because I had all of the branch network, all of the operations from facilities, wealth management, all the front office facing branches, I had to then shift it and expand that it's not just operations, it's the whole credit union. So that has been a big shift. And I just celebrated my first 100 days. And they say in your first 100 days, you really should, spend time with the employees. And I've been spending a lot of time. I've scheduled one-on-one meetings with each branch department. And I'll be wrapping those up here in the next week. But listening to the voice of our employees has been huge, because if our employees are happy, our members are going to be taken care of. So I've been spending a lot of time, technology can always improve. We are always looking at ways to make sure our staff have what they need to do their job. And so I've been kind of doing a talking tour around all of the branch structures that we have. So that's been a game changer. And, with my new position, we've had a lot of changes, because when I was promoted, then that opened up my position, and then that opened up other VP positions. So we've got a brand new team practically. And that has been something that I've been spending a lot of time with, because when you have a new team, you want to take time to do assessments, leadership profiles, make sure that that new team has what they need, because they're leading employees. And so it's kind of been a really interesting first 100 days with focusing on that, and also, achieving our strategic goals in our plan that we have set. So I'm already planning for 2022 strategic plan. We've already started that process. So a lot of opportunities, and we're really excited. There's a lot of excitement in this building.
Your mission statement of Cobalt is it fits into what something I believe in. I'm going to ask you a question about it. Here's your mission, and that is to be members' trusted financial partner, providing tailored solutions to support them through their life events. I'm a big believer. I follow Donald Miller, who runs the Story Brand Framework, where he teaches if you are the guide, not the hero of the story, right? So your members are the hero in their own story. Cobalt would be the guide. How do you feel that you best guide your heroes, which are your members, in their life's journey?
We have a lot, and I just got goosebumps when you said that, because we have a lot of stories that come out, how we've helped someone. And one example I'll give you is we had a member that had a high interest rate. I think they were at like 18%, and we were able to refinance. We were able to refinance, and they're saving like $300 a month for their required payment that they were paying on a credit card. So, helping people, and it's people helping people, the credit union philosophy, but really those stories where you work with a business owner that didn't have a plan, and you help them and they achieve their goals and their dreams, or someone getting in the house for the first time, and watching that process and how they become dedicated to the credit union. They bring in their babies, they bring in their grandchildren. We've got a lot of each of our branches. I always say this, each of our branches have a story to tell, because these members live by our branch or work by our branch, and they've got that relationship built. Our employees are our brand ambassadors, and it's important that the building of the relationship is huge. And I think that's what makes us stand apart from other places. I get a lot of thank you letters, and we recognize employees that have really been providing exceptional member service. So that recognition is huge, and it makes you feel good.
Exactly, but it takes the right employees to execute that, right? And your core values come into play here, where you use the acronym RISE, which is respect, integrity, service, and excellence. Where did those core values come from, and how do you know when an employee is able to really live all three of those?
Well, it's kind of as you walk into our employee entrance here at the headquarters, it's right there. I mean, from the moment you walk in, from their first day of employment, we really talk about that. And we have integrity programs that we reiterate that. And our core values is who we are. We know our members trust us. We've done a lot of voice of the customer surveys. Our members trust us. And it's important that we, in turn, provide that back. Respect, is huge in any business. So making sure that you take care of your members and your employees, and live by those core values, it's huge. So we started that we changed it. We had a long list of values, but we didn't have something that came out with the RISE, and we had done a lot of research on that. So we ended up selecting this, and it really has was a game changer for our culture.
All right, you mentioned you see it right when you walk in the headquarters. Here's a picture of the headquarters that's out on 370 and 72nd Street. Do you just pinch yourself every time you see this building because it's a beaut? It's gorgeous.
I know, and can you believe we've been here 7 years?
I can't. I really can't. I mean, that time flies.
Yeah, we wanted it to be timeless, and I just had someone visit the other day, and they're like, "Oh wow, when did you build this?" And I said 7 years ago. It's just timeless. We built that with that in mind, from the furnishings, the finishes. I have people that apply to work here, and I always ask new employees, "How'd you hear about the credit union?" I wanted to work in this building, and that's kind of amazing because that put us, being here on this is a very busy, visible corner, 72nd and 370. So we've had non-members that didn't know they could join because of this building. We have employees that have wanted to work here because of the building. So it's amazing when you add a new headquarters, how life-changing that can be.
It's interesting. I'm looking at these photos of some of the interior shots, and I'm looking at your floating staircase, which is still, it's a beautiful centerpiece when you walk in. And did you ever think you would know so much about white glue lambs?
No.
And that would.
And that is, I should have planted some trees, white oak trees, because that white glue lamb, which is a key feature, architectural feature, is I've had so many people ask, what kind of wood is that? So I learned a lot about finishes and the architectural world and contracting. So it's been a fun ride.
But it's fascinating because in my former career, I was on television for 20 years, and it's interesting how it doesn't matter what you do. The principles of business, the principles of doing business are kind of all intertwined, right? I mean, it's very simple. It comes down to people. It comes down to communication. It comes down to doing the right thing.
Exactly. If you do the right thing, then you won't have any problems.
Yeah, the thing is, of course, also anticipating the future, and that is where's the future of banking going? What you mentioned the ITMs and the mobile stuff. We got a couple minutes left. Where do you think the future is going?
I see a growth for the credit union. With our existing members, we have huge opportunities to grow and market to those members. We also have a huge opportunity to grow to people that still don't know they could join the credit union. Marketing, it's going to be a big year for marketing for us to get that out. But people will always need to have a financial either advisor for wealth management or counseling to help them, or their first mortgage loan. And those are, relationships that I think there's always going to be a need for that.
You continue to grow because you're going to open a branch in Gretna in June of this year. Then you have also started to construct one in Lincoln. People would say, well, hold on, we're getting more paperless, we're getting more mobile. Where did you see the need for growth and actually building new branches?
Well, we literally look at our membership that we have in those communities. We have a lot of members in Lincoln. And being the number one auto lender in our dealerships is a huge opportunity. I have so many people that ask, when are you going to build a branch in Lincoln? It's a great opportunity for us to grow and expand the Cobalt name to the community. So I think the banking is not dead. I mean, people are always going to have a banking need. We're here to stay.
And whether it's mobile or I think there's people that still like to go in a branch and physically talk to somebody. I think there's something about getting to know somebody, getting to meet, and that's just part of doing business. If you can physically talk to somebody, look them in the eye and go, okay, I trust you. I think that's still a big factor, don't you think?
Yep, absolutely. The relationships, we're part of their lives. And yeah, mobile is convenient, but it helps to connect. I think after this year, especially, people realize the connection is huge to have face-to-face contact.
Absolutely. I do want to remind people that you can find MCL Construction on social media. We are on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Also, please take time to visit our website because we like our website. There's a lot of good information about the services we provide. Robin, congratulations on your first 100 days. I hope it wasn't too stressful for you.
No.
Thanks for taking the time, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be in touch. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time, which is in about a month, on our next Client Conversations. I'm Travis Justice. Please follow me on LinkedIn and follow MCL Construction on LinkedIn. We'll see you next time.